The chair calls Donnell Castledine, testifying for herself, and she's against the bill. We will show that Ms. Castledine did not testify, and she is against the bill. The chair calls Genevieve Cato, or Cato. Okay. We will show that she did not testify, but that she is against the bill. Yes.
Would you explain to folks that you give them time to get here, just so that they don't think that their name was called and we're showing them as not testifying or testifying, and then they might just leave. But because yes. I think some of these folks are first timers.
Okay. Great. To those persons who may not be in the room, who may be in one of the overflow rooms, if we call your name and you are not in the hearing room, when you come in, please see one of the clerks sitting at the front and let them know that you're here, and we will call you. We will call your name again. I think this is someone's name we just called.
Okay, hold on. Who is it? I get to.
Okay.
Just she's not supposed to be talking.
Yeah. Allison, the chair calls Allison Orwerda, testifying for self and is against the bill. Would you please start with your name and your position on the bill, please?
Yes. Hi, my name is Allison Orwerda, and I am against House Bill 60. I don't have any fancy facts, but I have my own relationship with women's health care, and most of my girlfriends have had abortions when they were between the ages of 18 and 24, before they could make decisions about majors or jobs or what to wear. They all of a sudden had to make a decision about having a baby or not. I don't think anyone should be forced into having a child or having an abortion. It's a personal decision that's different for everybody. I'm raised by a mother who's worked in women's reproductive health for 30 years, and she is a wonderful, intelligent, smart, giving woman that's worked really hard to keep women's rights active. I think it's a basic necessity, not a luxury, and it shouldn't be. It's needed just like any other medical practice. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, Ms. Orwerda. Members, any questions? Okay, the chair is going to call Genevieve Cato, testifying for herself, and she's against the bill. Start with your name, please, and your position.
Yes, my name is Genevieve Cato. I am testifying against HB 60, and I'm representing myself. I was going to talk about something else, actually, but then today I was accused of making abortion an issue. Not just me, but all of the women who, like me, speak out when restrictive bills, such as House Bill 60, are filed. The woman asked me, why do you insist on focusing on issues that divide us, that divide women? And I am not ashamed to stand up and to say that access to abortion is incredibly important to women's health, and so it is important to me. But I am completely fed up with being accused of making abortion an issue. I did not make abortion an issue. I did not write this bill. I did not ask Representative Laubenberg and Senator Hager to try to further restrict abortion access. I did not do those things. None of the women in this room want to have to be here. We have other responsibilities like families and jobs. I was actually just working here until the 15th. I have a 2-week vacation from politics until I start my new job. I was with my family, and I had to drive from Houston to be here to talk to you. Our mothers and our grandmothers fought for rights like access to safe, legal abortion so that we could be truly equal and have the kinds of fulfilling lives that make it hard to drive here and speak to you. Laws like this one that seek to restrict abortion access under the guise of protecting women's health are why I am constantly having to talk about abortion. This woman who accused me told me that the women's movement could be doing so much more if only we weren't always talking about abortion. But I will actually go further. We as women, pro-life and pro-choice, could be doing so many more incredible things with our lives if we were fully in control of our bodies. If we did not have to live in fear of unwanted pregnancy and the uncertainty that restrictions on abortion access like those contained in this bill create, how many more wonderful things could we do? As a matter of fact, just think of everything all these passionate, intelligent, driven people in this room could be doing right now if we did not have to be here, having the same conversations and fighting the same fights as our grandmothers. I think we could be doing a lot of incredible things. Speaking of mothers, I would like to go out on a limb and say, based on how great my hair looks today, the earlier witness was talking about me.
Okay,
my nails are also very nice.
We're going to keep it down, okay?
Okay. Sorry. My mother says that having me was one of the best experiences of her life. She is my best friend, my confidant, and one day I would love to be able to give that same love and support to my own child. But I will only do that when I choose to. Motherhood should never be forced upon anyone, and HB 60 by restricting access to abortion does just that. Thank you
very much for your testimony. Members, any questions? Thanks. The chair is going to call Danielle Castledine is representing herself, and she's against the bill.
Hello, my name is Danielle Castledine, and I am here representing myself against the bill. I do want to go on record saying that someday I do choose to have a child, and I would like for other people to be able to have that choice. I think it's a wonderful choice for people to have, just as the choice to have an abortion is a wonderful choice for people to have, but that is the choice they need to make in their situation. I'm very lucky in that I've never had to make that choice because I've always had access to things like birth control, like good sexual education, and I do fear that this bill would take that choice for abortion, which is needed in some situations, away. And that's why I'm here today testifying against this bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Members, any questions? Thank you. The chair calls again Joy Kasnowski.
Kasnowski, yes.
Kasnowski.
Hi,
okay.
Good evening. Thanks for your time. My name is Joy Kasnowski, and I am against House Bill 60. I'm a constituent from Representative Donna Duke's district. One thing that hasn't really been brought up tonight, and I wanted to bring some light to it, was the effects that House Bill 60 could potentially have on economically on Texas. House Bill 60 places absolutely unnecessary restrictions on family planning. When I was a freshman at UT here in Austin, I was enrolled in a geography class of Latin America, and I was struck with what my professor told me. He said, you know, the two things that can help economies, communities, and countries develop is access to family planning and access to education for women, and that stuck with me for a long time. As I see it, this bill is not about protecting women's rights, but about stripping their rights and at the same time sending the state of Texas backwards economically. As an aside, after going to this class, after learning, I spent considerable amount of time in South America, living both in Bolivia and in Ecuador. Both wonderful countries, fantastic. But what those two countries don't have, unfortunately, is access to family planning for women and a lot of access to education for women. Economics professor Ted Joyce from the Baruch College in New York has conducted considerable research on the impact of regulations like House Bill 60. He's concluded that reducing the number of clinics that provide abortions would return us to pre-Roe v. Wade racial and socioeconomic patterns. Women forced to have children when they're not ready would lessen the likelihood that they would pursue educational goals and follow career aspirations, which means what? It means the cycle of poverty is perpetuated in our state. It increases the number of unwanted and planned children. It puts the burden of raising them back on the system, back on taxpayers, back on others, and it doesn't propel us economically in this state. Anyone who is forward-thinking, which I would like to think most Americans are forward-thinking, can see that this bill is not sound fiscally, and it strips away rights of women, and it strips away the potential for Texas to grow like it should. Thank you for your time.
Sure. There is a question. Representative Farrar.
Genevieve?
Joy?
Joy. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't update. What was the name of the professor that you mentioned? Did you say Emory?
Baruch.
How do you spell that?
Baruch College, and that's the college that he's at, but his name is Ted Joyce. He's an economics professor.
How do you spell
Ted?
Yeah, no, the Joyce.
Joyce, J-O-Y-C-E.
I figured, okay. All right. And he's what sort of a professor?
Economics professor.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, do you know if he's published books or?
I took this from, I don't recall this particular article, but I can get that for you.
I'll Google him. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
The chair calls Jennifer Allman, representing the Texas Catholic Conference of Bishops, and she's for the bill.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Allman, and I'm representing the Texas Catholic Conference of Bishops in support of HB 60. We would like to urge Texas lawmakers to pass this strong pro-life legislation, not only because it represents a protection for the unborn, but also because it's a tremendous advance and for ensuring the health and safety of Texas women who are seeking abortion. While the Texas Catholic Conference strenuously opposes abortion, it equally values protecting and preserving the health of women whose lives are just as precious and contain just as much dignity as those children destroyed by the act of abortion. We believe in requiring providers and practitioners to meet the most rigorous mandatory standards, and we believe this bill does that. Thank you.
Members, any questions? Thank you very much for your testimony. The chair is going to call Ann Hettinger, representing the Concerned Women for America of Texas, and position is for the bill.
Thank you, Chairman, and members for allowing me to speak. My name is Ann Hettinger. I'm the State Director for Concerned Women for America, and I'm speaking for the bill. I have about 18,000 members in Texas, and I know you're very glad I didn't bring those with me tonight. So just let me tell you that we're asking you to pass this bill. There's one thing that I want to bring to your attention. Our society has become very hardened to gore and torture. We have seen CSI, we have seen Criminal Minds, we've seen Law and Order, we have seen all of those programs that are fiction. But abortion is not fiction. And what we see in the torture, I have seen those pictures from Karsten. I have seen what has happened to those babies. That is not fiction. That's reality. And I'm asking you to pass this bill and let's stop that torture. You know, as a child, I was taught that my freedoms ended at your nose. So let's apply that to babies too, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hettinger. Members, any questions?